news. Brian Bumblelow. Thank you. It came out 50 minutes ago. The contract was, in fact, a Dailywire contract.
Dailywire contract.
The Daily
No
Wire
fucking way.
are a bunch of fucking jerk-offs. And I could finally say it with confidence.
Well, let me ask you this. Because they are a multi-million-dollar company, you think that once you get to a certain level, you might as well just assume that person's acquiescing, because that's what it looks like, according to what you said.
I think it's partially that, but it's partially bitches, Skrill. Bitches are in charge.
Just bitches.
It's bitches. I'm tired of bitches. I'm tired of people who are not real men fighting. They're willing to just take a paycheck just to shut the fuck up. And look, I could be talking out of my ass because I'm not in the position. Somebody might offer me enough money where I go, all right, I'll be quiet. And then I'm now a sellout, but...
I was going to ask you, what's your price? Everybody got a price.
You got to pay me enough where I could buy my own island and just fucking, like, leave society.
Jesus Christ. At that point, it wouldn't be worth it, because it's not like you're going to stick around for us to get the most bang out of our buck.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, like, where I can just go, all right, well, I'm just done with everything then. I'm done with the whole country.
You know what? Fucking YouTube channel. I don't have to do that anymore.
I don't have to do anything. Yeah, they'd have to, like... But at that point, they'd just probably kill me if I got to that level.
Yeah, true. I mean, it would make sense.
Do you think that's what happens? They bring them into a fucking room and go, listen, we're not playing.
I don't know. Hard to say. Honestly, I don't think that's how it happens. I think it's more of it's a subtle thing. It's one of those where, where you go to the bank. Let's say you're a multimillionaire. You go to the bank and you're used to being treated in a certain way, but you get there that day because there's some shit going on with your account. Let's say you lost all your money. You go there, and instead of getting you something to drink when you get there, Jeeves is looking at you funny instead of bringing you your champagne. You know what I mean? Instead of walking up to you and shaking your hand, the lead banker just ignores you because you're no longer of value. You know what I mean? So if somebody feels like you're threatening their company with your views, I can see that transpiring.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is the whole thing. Is the problem is that what they stand for. So they stand to pretend that they're fighting against big tech and fighting against liberals and fighting against communism. But in actuality, they're basically kowtowing to them. And it's funny because I've been saying it, like, you don't ever see Shapiro or the Daily Wire dealing with demonetization or getting suspended from YouTube.
That's a good point.
They never deal with that.
Say it again.
I just said they never dealt with that. I've never seen them like go like, we've been suspended again. So
now, is that playing the game smart, or is that just being a bitch?
I think at points, because it's just like we've talked about all the time. There's times that we get as loose-lipped as you can when it comes to the conservative kind of place, right? Okay. But there's been the things we've gotten suspended for had nothing to do with that. It was that we were quote unquote wrong about certain facts that turned out to be true. So it's like, but it's not even that it turned out to be true. It was true the whole time and we knew it.
Yeah.
But it's like, so at some point you're kowtowing because you have to go like, all right, then they got lucky then in not getting suspended by accident. Does that make sense?
I don't think that makes sense, because it's not that you can't get suspended by accident. They've said that, is there a way that you can say the things that we say safe?
At the end of the day, when it came to COVID, be very careful. At the end of the day, Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire were pushing vaccines.
You know what? You're right.
Ben Shapiro was going on his show saying, I got vaxxed, my wife got vaxxed, she's a doctor. Totally
Trust
fine.
the science?
But you should make your own decision. He was saying you should make your own decision. But he was saying the vaccine is perfectly fine. Look what's happening now, though.
I don't even know if we can talk about it, but yeah, I try not to think about it every other day, but sometimes I'll get a sharp pain in my chest, and I'll be like, "Oh shit, is this it? Is
It's
that
the
it?
big one.
Is that the vaccine at work?"
And sadly, I mean, I'd like to be comforting, but who knows, bro?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Listen, all I know is if we can document it here. We have the documentation. If it happens, uh, hopefully I'll have some sort of trust set up for the show. 'Cause
Yeah.
God damn.
Pete Ortiz, true. To be fair, Trump was too.
Yeah.
Trump
And
did push the vaccines to get through.
You've always been critical of him in that moment, you
Of
know?
course, yeah.
Yeah, so
I thought it was rushed, and it was all just because the fucking liberals were outraging. He could have opened up the country without them.
not everybody's perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Even Uncle Trump.
Well, it was always the two things I had with Trump was that and the way he dealt with the riots.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it was just if I were to not vote for Trump, it would be for those two things, but that just didn't outweigh. But
Makes sense.
yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Shapiro and the Daily Wire, they don't cross the line. They know what the line is and they don't cross it. They're very safe.
They're definitely not habitual line steppers.
No. And then, look at just the turmoil that goes on over there, the whole fucking Candace Owens thing. I called her out. I called all these motherfuckers out. Tatum.
You know who's really been annoying me lately? And I had to unfollow her. I bet you can't guess.
Sorry. Who?
You got Brett Cooper.
Brett Cooper. Who is that?
She's part of the Daily Wire. She's like this younger white chick who does like fucking reactions, and she's got a show called The Comment Section where she'll go over comments in people's in like random videos. Like she does a lot of trans.
Bro,
a lot of transit.
Is she like a blonde girl?
Is she blonde? I don't know.
Is she blonde? Brett Cooper. I'm gonna look her up. I think I know who you're talking. They have a girl working at the Daily Wire, and she
looks like Ben Shapiro.
I gotta see this. There's a girl working at the Daily Wire, and she fucking sucks. She's not good at all.
She's not good at all.
Not good at all.
What if we're thinking about the same person?
I'm gonna look. I was watching one of their backstage specials, and they kicked it over to her for a minute, and she stumbled all the way through. She wasn't funny, wasn't interesting.
Oh, you're upset, buddy. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I have to. Hey, Brian, if you can send me an article, the article that you saw. I'm looking it up with Crowder. I'm guessing he probably said it on Twitter, right?
Ooh.
Is Crowder even on Twitter?
I don't know. Is Crowder on Twitter? I doubt it. Wait, no, I think he is. He is. I follow him on Twitter.
Let's see. Well, this was a day ago. Or Brian, let me know who actually let that out. Misfit ranks, what's good? Peter Ortiz, PragerU greater than Daily Wire. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if PragerU, I like PragerU, but, well, I don't know. They say a lot of, they expose a lot of shit too. So I don't know.
What are they covering?
I'm just keeping my eye on a lot of these big time conservative outlets.
Is PragerU considered conservative?
Oh yeah, very.
Hmm. Interesting.
Dennis Prager is like a super old school conservative Jew.
That's a thing.
A YouTube video, our offer to Steven Crowder by the Dailywire. Oh, they were the ones that came out.
Oh, ballsy,
Wow.
ballsy. I like it.
Hey, you
Ben
know what?
said,
We
yeah,
got to
put
get
it out.
ahead of this thing.
Ben said, put it out. Yeah, we did that shit.
We're going to get ahead of this
And
thing, and we're going to do it now.
why?
Wow. So
Steven?
you're telling me Dailywire stayed up late tonight? No early bedtime for Dailywire. Let's see how long this is, then maybe we'll do a live reaction.
What are we reacting?
Our offer to Crowder.
Oh, shit.
Oh, this is getting interesting, huh?
Getting spicy.
Jesus, 50 minutes.
Why do you have to label it like that? Our offer to Crowder.
You're telling me this is 50 minutes?
50?
Let me just start it and see what.
He's totally full of shit.
All right.
Something like this should have been a 5-minute response, right? There's gotta be.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying he's full of shit. Whatever he's gonna say, it's like it's gonna be 2 minutes of truth, and then the rest is filibuster.
Now I believe that's Jeremy Boring. Yeah, Jeremy Boring. Wow, they brought the CEO out for this.
Our friend Steven Crowder has launched a new initiative called Stop Big Con. And in the video announcing the launch of the project, he talked about...
Can you hear it, Skrill?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Leaving the blaze and all the different offers that he fielded from other conservative organizations and what he thought were the real problems with those offers. And that's led a lot of people to speculate about whether or not the Daily Wire is one of the people who made him an offer. In particular, are we the ones who made the offer that he put up on the screen and talked about at length? And the answer is yes, that offer did come from the Daily Wire. I'm not trying to hide that fact. I'm not ashamed of that fact. In fact, I think it's a very good offer. But I think there's a lot of...
You should be, you jerk off.
Sort of
that's what I'm gonna let it play after this, but that's another thing, is like you should be ashamed of that after all the shit that you've talked and everything you've been claiming you stood for. You should be ashamed of this. That's what makes me sick. You're not ashamed.
You're not ashamed.
Yeah.
Conceptions about the nature of the offer, the nature of the points. I think Steven misunderstood a lot of the points. And so the way we do here at the Daily Wire, we're just going to be incredibly transparent. You know that we like to have our members be a part of the journey. We live stream all of our company town halls, for example. We just find that sunlight sometimes is the best disinfectant. And so with that in mind, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we came to be in conversations with Steven, how those conversations ended, and walk you just line by line through what the actual document that we sent over to him, a non-binding term sheet, what it actually said and why. First thing you should know is that I'm really miserable to be making this video. Steven's been my friend for 10 years. I think he's maybe the most talented person working in the conservative...
friendship for what?
Media space. He's one of the top entertainers in the country, politics notwithstanding, a great comic voice. And I find it really tragic that we're having this kind of a conversation.
Tragic.
It's also very important, I think, that...
Oh, take it down a notch, buddy.
That we talk...
All right, hold on. 50 million plus 25 million for bonus content. Is why they wanted to own him. Honestly, I have to look at how much Crowder's pulling in. But I feel like that's
a lot, bro.
This is the thing too, though. That depends on how much that is over like the span, because it kept saying over the term of the contract. How long was the term? And maybe that's what we'll find out here. But if that's like over a span, 50 million over a span of like 5 years, that's 10 million a year. That might be underselling Crowder.
That's definitely underselling. I think Crowder's easily worth 30 million for 1 year.
Okay, for 50 million for 4 years, Brian is saying. So let's just go off of Brian. I'm pretty sure he's not lying to us. I still think that's underselling Crowder. And I got to look at his numbers, but I would assume he's bringing in more than that.
So
I have to assume. Have to. Because then you take his mug club money. That's all his money. That's not like, I'm sure there's overhead, but
there's always overhead.
Always overhead, but he's not working through Patreon or one of these other sites. It's his site. So
Right.
all right. Yeah, I just think that just sounds a little underselling Crowder a little bit.
About it
What
in particular.
what exactly did they want? They wanted all his rights in perpetuity?
Yes.
Jesus.
It
Christ.
says that word for word in perpetuity.
Yeah, that word is, and that's why contracts are bullshit. Anytime you see that word in perpetuity, that just means they own your shit forever, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well,
Because we paid.
it's as long as the contract is in in play. So in perpetuity, it technically does mean that, but then there's an end to it. There's got to be an end to it. But let's continue.
Because I know a lot of people who are fans of the Daily Wire were really offended by the things that Stephen said in the video, and they're concerned that maybe we're doing the wrong thing. And I think that by the time we finish this video, you'll understand what we were thinking with our term sheet and how we operate as a business a little bit better. I've wanted to be in business with Stephen since the day that I met him. Ben and I tried to do some even movie deals with Stephen before there was CRTV and before there was a Daily Wire. For that entire time, we've talked at length at various times about getting together and doing things. Of course, for most of that time, he's been under contract, first at CRTV and then at the Blaze. So we weren't able to. And from time to time during the years, we would get together and daydream a little bit about, would there be a future for us to work together at the other end of that deal? We got word that Stephen was finishing up his time at the Blaze and was interested in having a conversation with us. And so we reached out to his agent and we said, listen, we'd love to have a conversation. It's not every day that a monster talent like Stephen comes on the market. We'd be bad businessmen if we didn't engage in a conversation with him. We weren't sure at that time if there was a deal to be had. I mean, for one thing, we're friends with Glenn, we're friends with Tyler, we're friends with all the guys at the Blaze. We weren't sure that we wanted to commit to making an offer to Stephen. And Stephen's an expensive talent. I mean, he's been in the business a long time. He has an enormous fan base, and we knew that it would take a lot of doing to get him over to the Daily Wire. This at the same time that we're investing very heavily in kids' entertainment content and making real television content, streaming scripted fiction like the Pendragon Cycle and Atlas Shrugged and other projects that we've taken on. Would we have the resources? We weren't sure. But again, you have to have the conversation. And we were happy to have it. So we reach out to the agent and we say that. We'd like to have a conversation with Stephen, kind of get into the details of what's he looking for? What's he looking for financially? What's he looking for in terms of structure? What would make his life better? What would make him happy?
Not an echo. We're on the Misfit Nation podcast live on YouTube. Don't forget to give us a follow. The Misfit Nation podcast. That's what you're hearing in the background right now. If there's an echo, let me fix that, brother. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, you're okay. Sorry.
He's got this opportunity.
Skip to when you see white paper on the screen. That's the part that matters. Okay, thank you. I assumed that because I saw that.
Stephen. So first, here's the document, the non-binding confidential term sheet. I'm just going to walk you through it. Full transparency. This non-binding term sheet sets forth the basic deal points of a proposed content production and distribution agreement between the Daily Wire, LLC, a Texas limited liability company, and Stephen Crowder via his loan out, so that if and when the parties elect to move forward with a long-form agreement, they can move quickly in preparing a definitive and binding agreement. That's just legalese. That means this is just a conversation starter, and we're obviously going to have a negotiation if we move forward, and a lot of these points are going to get beat up. And for those of you who've never been through a now, well, that's how it works. When you send someone an offer, you don't send them everything that you're.
Fuck me. If this is no, I'm just like thinking in my head because I see where he's going with this. If he's trying to make the argument that this was just the first round of negotiations, he could suck my dick with that. Because why would that even be in the negotiation? Like, as if
that was a here, sign this. Please, please, God, have him sign this so we'll own him. That's what that was.
you're telling me you're going at Steve, all that preamp that he did. He knows Steven Crowder. He knows him as a human, like just as a person. And you're going to bring him that contract and think like, because you're bringing a negotiation that you think somebody's going to actually take. At what point would you think, like, I wouldn't even think to, like, I would know he wouldn't go for that. I think,
well, see, that's the thing.
I think they thought, sorry, let me just say this. I think they thought that Steven Crowder was going to see the money and go 50 million. Oh, man. And take it.
I think he's touching, I think on his own, he's touching at least 10. And that'll let him do it by himself. You know what I mean?
To sell everything, 50 million is not worth it.
It's not.
Not at all. So, like, I think they thought that he was gonna bite on the money and actually like try to, like, they were trying to tame Steven Crowder.
Well, I think he should. I think he should make his own social media platform. But again, it's one of those things where people are so fucking trained. Like the moment, like let's take Elon for example. The moment that Elon let Trump come back on Twitter, people who are Trump fans were like, "Yeah, let's bring Trump over." When it's like, bro, you should be on Trump's website. I have a Truth Social handle. You know what I mean? Like you if you want to support the guy, go to where he is. Like you don't have to use Twitter.
Well, that's the thing of like going to war, is that Dailywire is obviously a little shaken that they might lose some of their subscriptions. That's why he came on. That's why he's doing this whole video right now. So
Do
he's.
they think they would have lost a lot for Crowder? Really?
Yeah,
they can't think that.
I think so. Because they know Crowder's not just some fucking chump.
Nah, definitely not.
And he's also a fighter. That's the thing. So they know, first off, they were being very silent about this until like people, I think, started like going, we think this is Dailywire. Even before it got exposed, I was saying it was Dailywire.
Well, let's be real. Shoot him some bail. Like, what company is going to leak their business details, even if the contract isn't favorable and it's a douchebag contract? Why would they put that out?
Because just like he opened the show, he said we based all of our thing on transparency. The best disinfectant is sunlight, is what he said.
He did say that. That was a bar too.
So this yeah. This right here is just all on brand for them. This is just brand for them. To me, what he's saying right now is empty. If that's the line he's going with, is this was just the first line of negotiations, and Steven Crowder took it too far. The fact that you use that as a negotiation exposes you. So this isn't a good like way out of the argument. This is actually bad.
So I don't like the way how he tried to be like, oh, well, you know, me and Steven been friends for 10 years. We got to stop this with friends and business. Like business is business. And when it comes down to it, when you're making contracts, you don't have friendship in the mind. It's okay, what's going to make us happy? What's going to make you happy? What's going to make me happy? What's going to make me feel like I'm not getting cheated? Somebody's going to get fucked in this contract. And I got to make sure it's not me. And at that point, how much do you value that friendship?
What? Yeah, I mean, but also it's the equivalent of the same thing, Skrill, of you bringing like me a contract, not from you. Let's say you got an offer for us for some kind of hip hop radio station or something.
Yeah, MTV.
Yeah,
MTV said they want to feature us on the channel. MTV 2. They're too wild.
Yeah, MTV 2 is better suited for. But what I'm 99 Jams. Let's say they went to you and they said, look, we want you to talk Crishaun into this contract, blah, blah, blah. But the contract said, you guys could do your show, but Crishaun has to tone it down a little bit on the racial talk and all that stuff.
how could I, knowing you, how could I even bring that to you?
You would probably tell MTV he's not gonna go for that.
Not going for that.
You know me.
Matter of fact, MTV on his behalf, suck my dick. Like,
Yeah.
I'll
I'll
just say that right there.
You might even have to leave the meeting with like, look, I'm gonna try. Not even I'm gonna try. I'm gonna tell him about it, but he's not going for it. That's probably how that meeting would end. So
Guys, go ahead and drop another one because I'll be back with a no.
yeah, and to not make it about me, I'm just saying using me as an example. Like you know me. If this guy really knows Crowder, and even his fans we know Crowder. Like I would never offer a guy like him that. I wouldn't offer anybody that. But what I'm saying is, it's
A guy like Crowder.
yeah. Why would you even want to though? Why would you want to?
Yeah, that's they try to give him a rapper contract. I'm not gonna lie. That was a 360.
It's a 360 deal.
That was a 360. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the thing is again,
is that standard? Wait, hold on. I'm about to get into Kanye territory now.
Go ahead.
Is that standard Jewish practice? Because look at the pattern.
Well,
Come on now.
But hey, I don't know if it's a Jewish thing. I think it's a liberal fucking establishment thing. I'm telling you, I've been called out Ben Shapiro for being establishment and the Daily Wire for being establishment. And I burned a bridge more or less.
You did. We were actually really close. We were actually really close to getting that contract with
well, not really a contract, but we were like, I was at least getting close to like having a meeting with them. That's what I was like trying to have. So
but look, in the long run, had we had met with them and they signed us to some shit, we might have had to change the way the show was run.
Absolutely, we would have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I mean, that for me, that wasn't like sour grapes kind of shit. Like, because they didn't take me, now I'm mad at them. No, it was like I saw what it was. They didn't want to touch me, and they didn't want to touch the show. They were scared.
It's too brash.
So yeah, sorry. But sorry to take it off of us. My point is just like, why would you even in the fight, the conservative fight that we're having, why would you even have that in your contracts as a negotiation? That's my question.
Because I guess we would have to look at it the same way as you look at some of these converted Jews. They're not really conservatives. That's plain and simple.
Maybe. Well, it just comes down to money. Just comes down to money. Let me continue playing this, and then there's a timestamp Brian gave me. By the way, thank you, Brian. You've been a fucking help here.
Awesome.
You're like the third mic on this one.
Can you backstage me real quick?
Yeah, of course.
All right, appreciate you.
All right. Let me get off the call here. All right, so let me continue playing this.
Willing to say yes to, because there is going to be a negotiation, because agents and lawyers are going to get involved, because you can't read their mind. You don't know everything that will be important to them and everything that they'll want. You don't know even, some of their sort of non-negotiable points. And so you send over a loop.
Bro, this is the biggest hunk of shit I've ever heard. That they wouldn't have known. I'm sorry I keep stopping it, but that they wouldn't have known what his values were. They wouldn't have known that certain points are non-negotiable. That was a bad faith contract. If those were true negotiations, that was bad faith negotiating on Dailywire's part.
Loose offer, and then they're going to beat it up a little bit. They're going to say, well, this should be higher and this should be lower. And you're going to come back and say, no, we're going to stand firm here, but we're willing to compromise there. And over time, you either get to a deal or you don't get to a deal. But that's how a good faith negotiation always works. 100% of every interaction I've ever had with any talent, that's the process. And so here we go. Here was our offer. A 4-year...
And sorry to stop it again, but he's right. That is the way you negotiate a contract. However, we're talking about censorship. and giving into boycotts and giving into the left. Everything that they've been fighting against, supposedly fighting against.
Their initial term with 2-year renewal at DW's sole discretion. That just means Steven's going to work for DW for 4 years. And if it's going really well, DW can retain him for an additional 2 years. 2, the fee. And remember, this is the minimum number that we thought would get the conversation started with Steven. $50 million for the initial term, plus $25 million for the renewal term, if extended, paid in monthly installments. Like I say, a pretty big number, but we thought for a talent like Steven, this is probably the minimum number that's going to get us in the door so that we can sit down and talk to him. 3.
And even if they're lowballing him there, that's fair. I'll give them that. That's fair in contracts. You want to pay as least as you can for a great talent. And let's not pretend 50 million and 25 million aren't big numbers. Again, but when you weigh it to what Crowder is actually worth in advertisement and bringing in subscribers, Pete Ortiz said it himself there. I would have subscribed for Crowder. But yeah, he would have brought in big numbers to Dailywire. But that part, I get him on that. That's not the issue here. Fucko. I know you're going through it chronologically, but can you get to the point?
Production costs.
I'm sure that's the
This is important.
Right?
We've never made a deal quite like the offer that we put in front of Steven, because Steven, very independent guy. I mean, all of our talent have very independent voices. Obviously, we can't tell them what to say. You know, Candace says what she wants, and Jordan Peterson says what he wants. Ben, Michael. But Steven has...
What about the tweet, though? Did they tell him to pull down the tweet? Obviously, they did now. That was actually the giveaway. That was almost a smoking gun that it was Dailywire.
Always built in this protection for himself that he wants
to.
So
obviously, again, he's not telling the truth there. They don't get to tweet what they want and say what they want. If they're telling you to pull down a tweet, I guess that's business. I guess I could see that, but you know, I guess that's a different thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't done that before. We saw just a while ago, Shapiro got into it with Candace. He wasn't telling her not to tweet it, but you know,
actually produce his content. He doesn't want, you know, most of our guys, they come to the studio and we turn on the cameras. We point the cameras, we point the lights. Steven likes to do that with his own team to just make doubly sure that no one's interfering with his content. Not that we would.
There we go.
And so we anticipated that, and we said, Crowder will bear the burden of production, including all costs associated therewith, on all the content contemplated herein, except on the quarterly and annual content contemplated below. We'll get to that part a little bit later. It's kind of a novel concept. The quality of the production will be as good as or better than is currently existing content. This just, again, Steven's going to produce his own content. It has to be as good as the stuff that Steven's audience has come to expect from him, and that'll come out of the $50 million. So it's not like all of that $50 million goes right in Steven's pocket. He's going to use some of it to pay for producers and studio space and camera equipment and operators and lights. Just like we're going to use some of the money that we make to pay for the infrastructure and the technology and the marketing and the legal and all the other.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why is he giving us a breakdown of what he would use the money for? That's not the point.
That's not the big. That's what I'm saying. He's trying to go through the whole entire thing. And what would be actually more transparent is him just saying, like, all right, look, I know what you guys are mad at. Let me go through the part that you're mad at. Not the fucking introduction paragraph. We don't need that. All right, let me go. I'm gonna go to Brian's timestamp.
Okay.
And that's 23 minutes in. After he's lost everybody with his name is Jeremy Boring. They don't call him Jeremy.
Came too fast, Stevie. Thanks for the warning. Appreciate you.
So you came too fast?
That's his name, all right?
Oh, I see.
God damn.
It's actually a nickname.
Make them with us. And this is important. See, he won't have the right to run any personal subscription or donation effort. He can't have a Patreon or a Locals or any sort of paid fan club while Mug Club is part of DW Plus, right? We're we're the ones who are going to own subscription revenue during the term. So I think all this is
That's
Wait,
kind of fair.
wait, fucker, don't gloss over that, buddy. You mean to tell me I built my audience, I brought them over here, and you're gonna get the money from that?
No.
buddy.
I think what he's saying is that, well, yeah, I guess that's negotiable. Of them getting a piece of Crowder's money. I guess that's fair though. But if they're saying too though that like, all right, you can't have Mug Club under Dailywire and then start, Mug Club Junior, and then have people subscribe to that instead of the Dailywire one. That's a conflict of interest.
Well, look, okay, so okay, how would you feel about this? If we sign to the Dailywire and they say, okay, Chris, we're gonna give you X amount of money, but anything you sold from misfitnation.com, we get all that. You can't make another misfitnation.com.
I don't know.
Am I misunderstanding?
No, so I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what he said. Did he say that they get all the revenue for that and he doesn't get a piece of it?
That's what I heard. I heard we get, and he glossed over it. He was like, and anything he made from Mud Club, Dailywire will get the money from that.
Let me
what he said. Run it back.
It was like 30 seconds. Let me pull it back real quick.
See, he won't have the right to run any personal subscription or donation effort. He can't have a Patreon or a Locals or any sort of paid fan club while Mug Club is part of DW Plus, right? We're the ones who are going to own subscription revenue during the term. So I think all this is very fair.
Okay, he said they own.
He said we're the ones that are going to own the revenue,
the subscription
during
revenue.
the term.
Now, that doesn't necessarily though mean that they're getting all the money from it, all the revenue. That just means that they're in control of. Sorry, go ahead.
That just damn.
They're
it singles
controlling
out subscriptions.
No. I think what they're saying is that they're controlling. Like they're the ones who are in charge of divvying up the money, so to speak.
Okay.
Like, so they technically, the money goes to Dailywire and then they filter it out to Steven. That's what I get from it. Because just because they own it doesn't mean that he's not getting any money from it. That would be stupid for him to do. That'd be stupid for them to even put that out as a negotiation. But let's continue.
Bro, I gotta feel I gotta feel like that's something a company would do. Honestly. Because look, we're gonna give you, let's say you're making 10 million off of Mud Club, and we gave you 50. You just made 40, and all you just got to give us is that 10 you make from Mud Club.
Yeah, but just like the 50 million, that's not just 50 million. That's also money that's going to go to production.
Right.
Just like they're going to put in money on production.
Right.
So there's like, it's almost like that part is even getting diced up a little bit too.
Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, so just because they're saying you get 50 million, that doesn't mean you have 50 million in the bank to just spend. That means some of that money you got to think of going to production. And then also that could make your production get better if it's more money than you've seen before. But who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very obvious to anyone. You wouldn't.
But also, let me take this back too, because they said in the contract they want the quality that it's at now or better.
Yes.
So the quality that it's at now is actually what they want. So
you wouldn't have to change much.
It would only just get better, really, because they just put more money behind it. Now he has not only his money, he has Dailywire money. So
you pay somebody $50 million to then compete with, have them work for your competitor, and you wouldn't pay them $50 million to have them compete directly against you. Now, here's this section that I know Stephen was very offended by, and I think he misunderstood and therefore misrepresented. Fee reductions. There's a different fee reduction for all.
Let me just say this, Brian Brumbley, I think I'm saying that wrong, but they basically want to be daddy with the wallet. That's more or less daddy Warbucks.
Yeah, it sounds like this contract is allowance based.
Yeah. He's they want to be Veruca Salt's dad.
Like, look, we're gonna give you this money, but because we don't trust you, we're gonna handle it for you.
They're right. They want
Yeah,
Steven Crowder to go
as
to
an
him.
island kid, as an island kid, I can attest that happens a lot.
Yeah. They want Steven Crowder to go to Dailywire office and go, Daddy, I want to make a parody.
More, please.
I want to
May I have
shoot
some
another
more, sir?
parody. I want to shoot another Change My Mind.
Is it okay if I make a parody video to some music? Is that all right?
I was thinking Kurt Cobain again. All right.
No, I can't turn suicide.
Yeah.
Rosa Parks. Civil rights. Sorry.
So they get a copyright
What can I
strike.
talk
They don't
about,
even want
man?
to. They don't even want to argue it. And we told you. You didn't
Yeah,
even
you
try.
did. It's true.
All right, let's continue.
All those kinds of contents we created. Daily content. If he fails for any reason to deliver 192 episodes of The Daily Show, or if he fails.
Do you want to just skip to the part?
Yeah, let's get to the part.
All right, because I get a lot of this is just basic contract negotiation. I want to get to why they put the liberal dick riding in there. So give me a second. Let me get to the timestamp, guys. Ad drop. Here we go. I want to see how he set it up too. I want to see if he even like set it up with some kind of like, all right, guys, this is the moment you all been waiting for.
Boycott's content strikes.
I bet he skims over it.
I gotta know what his explanation for this is gonna be. I'm on pins and needles right now.
Let's hear it.
Unethical and wrong.
Oh wait.
To tell her that what she was doing to Steven Crowder was absolutely unethical and wrong. So what were we trying to accomplish with this section? Well, let's go through it.
Okay, wait. I gotta go back a little bit more. I want to enjoy this.
Money. YouTube, though, still makes money off of us. And so in that way, Steven is still driving, he's still driving success for YouTube. It's unfortunate that YouTube has chosen to cut him out of participating in that success. In fact, I think YouTube is utterly wrong. The only time I've ever talked to the CEO of YouTube, it was to criticize her for her treatment of Steven Crowder. I didn't even talk to her about the Daily Wire. I had nothing to say at that moment about Daily Wire, but at that time they had demonetized Steven, and I used my one audience with one of the most powerful CEOs in the world to tell her that what she was doing to Steven Crowder was absolutely unethical and wrong. So what were we trying to accomplish with this section? Well, let's go through it. The reduction of fee from lost revenue from boycotts, content strikes, or bans from major social media platforms. A, ad drop. If Crowder is boycotted or dropped by more than 50% of his then extant advertising partners, that is, if 50% of the money that he's making from advertisers is suddenly gone, and we're not able to replace that revenue within 90 days, then his fee will be reduced by 25% until such time as the ad revenue has been restored for a period of 90 days, and then it would all reset. Steven says, all the left does is boycott our advertisers, so this just says to the left, your boycotts work and we'll enforce it for you. We will punish the content creator for you. But this isn't about punishing the content creator. This is about if the Daily Wire is going to leverage, I can't stress it, probably $100 million by the time you have marketing and infrastructure costs, by the time you pay for all the legal compliance, all the technology that it takes to support Steven's show and Steven's show, even at the price that we offered for it, which he would have wanted much more. At least $100 million.
Hold on. But then, buddy, you know what you're getting when you sign him, bro. It's like when Reebok got mad at Rick Ross for saying I put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it.
Right.
I took her home and enjoyed that. She ain't even know it. And then Reebok dropped him. Bro, it's Rick Ross. He talks about selling drugs and killing niggas. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, look, the only thing that he can say that would like make any sense here is that it's for the company's protection.
If we're playing devil's advocate, then that's 100% what he just explained. He said, look,
right.
we know that he's got problems. For whatever reason, he loses half of his ads. We gotta cut his money because we're gonna be losing out on that.
Yeah, but the point of signing with a Daily Wire or signing with one of these big time conservatives is not, it's almost like Goodfellas. It's protection for wise guys.
Mm,
You get what I'm saying?
okay.
It's so that that's honestly why I wanted to, a part of why I wanted to work with them. Is because and I told you guys that, is if we had,
it'd be a buffer.
we had somebody that would be able to like sort of keep us under their wing. So it's like, if they're not offering the protection and they're only worried about protecting themselves, then it's like, what kind of chance are you guys taking in this? Because I can only go softer. If Steven Crowder's trying to fight the left and get rid of the whole canceling, the worry of that, it's like, why now I'm gonna work with somebody who I have to like kind of work more red tape.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think they should have known better. Well, let me continue.
You're good.
Obviously, if the show makes dramatically less money, well, then Stephen has to make less money because we're making less money. And I brought this up to Stephen.
No. Oh, wow. He just really conflated that.
So Steven has to make less money because we're making less money.
No. He said if the show is making less money, but he conflated that in the way of, and I'm glad we paused it there because it's almost like two separate sentences. But he made it sound like as if Steven wasn't, like he's reasonably not making money if he gets boycotted. Like as if Steven is doing something wrong.
Right, like it was on him.
Right. But he is right in terms of their the problem is that they have to put it in contract with these boycotts to protect themselves. They should see it as the freedom fighters they've been posing as, to go like, look, we trust in Steven so much that we'll foot the bill if these leftists get out of line.
Yeah, but that's not what it is.
He's not even mentioning that. Like, he's not mentioning lefties and all that. So let's see. Let's continue it. But I don't like how he's framing this already.
On the phone, and I said, Stephen, if your show, if we guarantee you $1 for your show, and the show makes $1 in ad revenue and $1 in subscription revenue, then how does the money work? Well, it works that $2 come in, you get your guaranteed $1, we get $1. What do we do? What do you do with your $1? Well, you produce your show and you pay yourself. What do we do with our $1? Well, we market your show, provide all the back-end infrastructure, pay for the 250 plus humans who work to make all of this continue to grow. By the way, we don't pay for one single person more than we need. There's no charity jobs. We're not giving our money away. If anything, we're understaffed by 50%. We ask more of our employees than any other company probably in America today. We drive people incredibly hard because our resources are limited, because we're trying to accomplish so much for our values, for our movement.
And that's another conversation. Are those people that you drive incredibly hard, are they getting well compensated for it? Or are we going to hear 10 years down the line that Dailywire paid me like shit?
Well, paying is one thing. It's the what he just said. Even I'm gonna play that little part back he just said.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Much for our values, for our resources are limited, because we're trying to. Today, we drive people incredibly hard because our resources are limited, because we're trying to accomplish so much for our values, for our movement.
Right there.
For our values, for our movement.
For our values, for our movement. So is it like, are there people, the problem is going to be with Dailywire. It's not going to be about what they paid people. It's going to be people coming out and going like, Dailywire told me to remove tweets. Dailywire told me that I can't say this.
Because
I can't talk. That's going to be the problem Dailywire runs into. It's not going to be money. Even with Crowder, again, I could write that off and say, that's just a negotiation. Sure. You want to pay little as you can.
Now, is it okay to have, is it not okay to have values though?
No, is it not okay to have value? No. You have to hold up to your values. Just because you're the company doesn't mean you get to cheapen out on the value and then expect your company or your employees, especially the talent. Like, if you're just some dude who's an intern or some dude who's like, you know, filing paperwork and shit, like, you have no reason to really like be outspoken. But if you're the talent,
unless you're trying to make a name for yourself, don't step on people's dreams.
yeah, that's what I'm saying though, because you have to be outspoken in that industry. If I were to like work in the Dailywire office or anybody that's in the position, you're trying to get on air.
Yeah,
So
you would have to. If you're content running around getting coffee for people, then you deserve whatever you get.
right, you're gonna be a paper pusher forever.
Yeah.
Michael Knowles is one of the guys in the Daily Wire that he's one of the few that I actually like too. But you know, we'll see about that. But he basically came up through the Daily Wire. Like, he started as a guy who just like did paperwork, then he wrote articles, then he got on air, and now he has his own show. So, point being is, like, I'm sure at some point he had to be able to be like outspoken in the office or even on Twitter or somewhere.
Yeah, he would have to. His thoughts would have had to been known.
Yeah.
By somebody in the building.
And he doesn't always agree with Shapiro. You know what I mean? So there had to be like, now my point is that if you're fostering now this environment where people are afraid to speak up, how does that make you any different from the left wing and left leaning companies?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. You're no better.
Yeah. In fact, you guys are now the same.
Yeah. Now when you say we're just trying to drive our values and we're trying to drive our principles, now I question, what are your principles? What are your values?
What are your values? Yeah.
Do they line up with me now? I don't know. And I think that's what they're worried, is that a lot of people are seeing that and going like, I don't know. I'm questioning the Daily Wire now.
And you know what? That's where I disagree with you. I honestly don't think they're worried, bro. For a company to generate 100 million, they have enough in their fan base to where if 10% drops off, they'll be fine.
No, bro,
You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think you're taking a little bit, and not only you, but a lot of people take for granted what this business actually is.
Okay.
And that it's based on people in the Daily Wire's position. It's based on people trusting you. You're a news source.
Okay, fair enough.
So this whole video again is all about them saving credibility because they don't want their fans to think, oh, well, they're establishment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a fair point.
So we pay for that out of our dollar, and then we pay ourselves. But that's how it works. I said, if the next day one of the dollars, the ad dollar, goes away, now what happens? Should it be that you said something on your show that caused that $1 to go away?
Ooh.
Now, you keep your $1 and we make zero? I said, that wouldn't make any sense. Obviously, you would have to lose a little and we would have to lose a little. I said, we're trying to sort of emulate the idea of a joint venture. And Stephen said, no, you should lose all the money. It's your business. And I said, well, Stephen, how would we have a business? Why would we be in business? And how would we stay in business?
Bro, I think he's lying right now. I don't think that's how that went.
You don't think that's how that
This
went?
conversation that they had, that he's claiming, that he's paraphrasing, had to go more in the line, and I'm just speculating, of Crowder saying, but we're talking about leftists that outrage about any little thing and boycott over every little thing, and they hate me. So
Now,
what about...
you think?
Hold on, let me just say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Crowder had to be more questioning about like what is considered a reasonable boycott. Like, if I get boycotted by the left because I said, what's a good one? I'm trying to think of a good. Because let's say he says that they should have kept the Robert E. Lee statue, and we know the left will boycott over that.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Any little thing Crowder said. What I'm saying is, what's a reasonable boycott where Steven Crowder should take responsibility, as opposed to an unreasonable boycott where the Daily Wire should go like, okay, look, we're gonna take care of you right now, just because this is unreasonable.
Well, you would have to think that the Daily Wire should err on the side of most things are not cancelable. Let's say if Steven gets boycotted for, I don't know, what can I don't know, for
he
fucking,
said
let's say he pulled a
go ahead.
Kramer and was just yelling at black people and calling them niggers.
Right.
I mean, look, if and call it what you want, freedom of speech, at that point the company has the right to pull you because you're going crazy. You know what I mean? But hold on real quick. Came Too Fast TV, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming through for the stream. Don't forget to follow us on the Misfit Nation on YouTube. Appreciate you. What was I saying?
Can I make a comparison too?
Yeah, go ahead.
But like, take that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Misfit Nation on YouTube. The Misfit Nation podcast on YouTube. You can't miss us. We're almost to 5K. So go ahead. Yeah, there you go.
We
there
need
you go.
more, baby.
Make sure you subscribe.
We need more. Let me make a comparison.
Sure.
Now take what you just said, and then say Don Imus, nappy headed hoe.
Okay.
Do you you can't compare the two? One is unreasonable and one is not. Where you can go, well, Don Imus was fucking joking. He called a bunch of black girls nappy headed hoes. As opposed to
the Daily Wire, would they have canned him for that?
Absolutely. I think they wouldn't stand behind him if there was enough outrage on Steven Crowder.
Okay.
They would tell Crowder, you got to apologize, you got to do this, and it would destroy Crowder's credibility and his brand. I
don't think it would destroy. It would only destroy his credibility if he apologized.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I got you.
So I think he's putting it in the terms too of, because you got your ad revenue removed because of something you said. That's how he put it. Where it's like, again, we're taking fully out of the whole thing of leftist cancel culture, the thing we've been fucking talking about for how long now?
Bro, it's the same. He might as well stay on YouTube for that kind of contract, because YouTube does the same thing. You say something we don't like, guess what? No more ads.
They're just now a middleman for YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all they are. And it's really more of YouTube is sending, and I'm not saying they're doing this directly, but it's like YouTube is sending the Daily Wire to fluff the deal for Crowder. We're gonna send you a friendly face so that you trust it a little more.
Yeah, because we need you to relax. You fucking us up.
Right.
You fucking us up in this algorithm. Because let's be real. I mean, I don't know another conservative program that pulls so many people from the platform. You know what I mean? That time he got suspended, bro, he got almost close to 1 million views on Rumble that first 2 days. Ridiculous. On Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, you're right though. You might as well just take your chances and stay with fucking YouTube and half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond.
Might as well. Yeah, get a quarter black Garrett in there for some for some funny games and call it a day.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. Let me continue a little more.
And Stephen, this is a very important point. Stephen, again, I think the most entertaining, talented person in the conservative movement.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I think one of the most entertaining and talented people in entertainment generally in the country today has created a very successful content generation company, a very successful production company. But Stephen's never had to create the company that actually distributes, markets, and monetizes all of that content. You know, he talks in his video about being one of the only true independent conservative voices. And I find that incredibly offensive. You know, Stephen, the whole time I've known him, has worked for someone else, has been paid by someone else. That doesn't mean other people tell him what to say. He's a very independent voice, and that's good.
Hey, you've
so
got
is
a
Matt Walsh.
subscriber.
So is
I can't
Candace
see
Owens.
it.
So is Ben Shapiro. So is Michael Knowles. So is Brett Cooper. But Stephen, as much or more than any of them, a very independent voice. But he's not exactly a self-made man. That's not true. He was paid by PJTV when I met him, which was owned by a billionaire at the time. Then he was paid by CRTV for a number of years, which was owned by a billionaire at the time. Then he was paid by The Blaze, which was subsidized by a billionaire, until Tyler Cardon, one of the real genius businessmen in our movement, turned the company around and made it profitable. During all of that time, Stephen drove a ton of revenue. He's incredibly valuable. I'm not suggesting that he wasn't driving value. He was. I'm only saying he didn't have to build all of that. He didn't have to think about it. And he didn't necessarily have to be profitable. And he doesn't know for a fact that he was profitable because, as he has said very publicly, all those companies, none of them really shared all the information about what was happening with them. So Stephen feels very certain that his show was always profitable, but he doesn't know that his show was profitable. And even if it was, what became of that profit? Most of that profit almost certainly was reinvested into growing the infrastructure and growing the technology and growing the marketing and growing the compliance. That's how business works. And if you're the Daily...
So more or less, if you heard what he just said, he said Steven Crowder never built a business, which would be making revenue from your company and then reinvesting that revenue into the marketing and the technology and all that stuff. That's business. But then he turns.
Really
but then, sorry, wait, real quick. And then he turns around and then says, then Steven Crowder made revenue from his company and then turned around and reinvested it into his company with the technology and all that. So he just basically talked out of both sides of his mouth there.
Listen, he drew a very interesting parallel to a situation that I'm very familiar with. As you know, I'm a Joe Budden fan, and during Joe Budden's partnership with Spotify, his main beef with them is that they wouldn't share information. So the mere fact that he's saying that Steven didn't get all the information from the heads of his company, that just seems to be common practice. Why would the main company tell you everything about their analytics? They're not. You know what I mean? They're never going to tell you how much money they're making from you. They're just going to sign you, and it's up to you if you want to sign that contract.
Well, unless he's talking like, and his credibility to me is kind of not there, so I don't know if he's really saying what Steven was saying. Like he's basically talking about a conversation they had. And where he's claiming that Steven doesn't know if his show is profitable, which I think is bullshit. I don't see how he doesn't know whether or not his show is profitable. Like I get
you would have to know that, bro. I mean, obviously he struggles with ad revenue on YouTube because YouTube's always striking him.
I was just about to say that too. Like how can you even calculate it correctly if you don't know? Like if you don't know the Sorry, go ahead.
How you can calculate it is by his subscriptions to Mug Club, and a lot of people harp on him. You know, a lot of people like OJ. OJ's one of the haters that says he's always trying to push it. But yeah, nigga, I gotta push something. I'm giving y'all this content. I got a lot of influence, a lot of followers, and I can't get no revenue from it. Yeah, if you guys want the real shit or you want some uncut shit or you want extra content, come over here. You got to pay a fee, but it's one time a year. To me, it's genius, and there's no way that you can tell me he's not making a good amount of money off of that.
And part of me thinks is that he's speaking to the people who don't watch Steven Crowder, because I don't get the feeling that Steven Crowder, and I know he always attributes his success to Breitbart. I think he even partially to Fox, even though he's not, he doesn't like Fox, but like he definitely like has told like this story that he had funding and he had business partnerships and stuff. Like he never, to me, never came off like he was trying to go like I'm some made man like Tony Soprano and shit. Like I just don't get the feeling Jeremy Boring is telling this to people who know Crowder.
No, of course not. I think this is definitely going to be tailored obviously to the Wire people.
Yeah,
What?
like you're a Crowder fan. Like you watch a show. You've
Yes, sir.
you've heard him. I'm sure you've heard him say. You don't have to back me up if you haven't, but I'm sure you've heard him like shout out the people that sort of made
Bro,
him.
he has a poster of Breitbart on the wall.
He's
Like,
always yeah. He's always talking about Breitbart.
yeah.
So it's yeah. So I don't know. I get the feeling he's almost trying. He's trying to. I don't want to use this word, but he's trying to villainize him in a way, like he's some kind of mafioso guy. That's like going, I'm a made man. Fuck everybody.
and again, I of course people like to say independent, and I'm independent and this and that. The people that are really like out there, like really out there, and that includes Crowder. They may be independent in certain aspects of their business, but they're back. They're 100% back. Somebody's giving them a huge check for them to move in a certain way. You know what I mean? Um, but I just think for the Daily Wire to put these kind of terms in, and I'm not a lawyer, but just based off of the values that they pretend to have, just doesn't seem like a fair contract.
Right. And the thing is this too. If you're criticizing him for taking funding, did the people who funded him in the past, right? Like Breitbart, I don't know if he actually funded him, but he mentored him. But did those people make him like try to make him sell out on his principles? From what I know, I'm pretty sure one of the companies did, and he left the company. I'm pretty sure that was the Blaze.
CEN, what was that? CET or something like that?
One of them,
CEN?
like I know
Yeah.
Fox, he burned the bridge with Fox because they were basically trying to control him too. Like so it's like Crowder has and I'm not trying to dick ride Crowder. I'm just trying to speak the truth here.
No, you dick gargling right now.
Yeah, I know. His dick is like down my throat. My esophagus
Paul,
right now.
matter of fact, just power drop right now because there's too much dick talking. You didn't even press the button. Just go ahead and do that.
I don't know if I even have it on here. Nah, I don't have it.
Wow. That's fine. It wasn't
So
fair.
anticlimactic. No, I don't have the cock talk thing. I try to reserve that to Misfit Nation. Here we go. Just the music.
It's special.
All right. Yeah, I just don't know. Let me just continue and then we'll wrap this up after play another minute or so. This guy's just bullshitting to a high degree.
Hey, bro, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. This nigga is a bullshitting.
He is bullshitting. He kind of looks like Rick Grimes a little bit, like a smart Rick Grimes. You can't see him, I don't think.
You know who he looked like? What's that white guy from the older dude from Boy Meets World? The fucking
Oh, Eric Matthews?
Yeah, he looks like Matthews grown up.
He does. Holy fuck. Now I can't unsee it.
Look at Matthews, man. That boy's shining.
Eric Matthews.
We're a very successful company by conservative media standards, and we're a tiny fraction of the smallest legacy media company. If we're going to make one of the biggest investments we've ever made in talent, which is what we were offering Crowder here, an amount of money that puts all of our investments at risk. I mean, if it doesn't work, you're not going to be able to make that kids' entertainment content. You're not going to be able to make that those movies and TV shows. You're not going to be able to continue to do things like sue the federal government to stop the vax mandate. You're not going to be able to do things like deploy investigative journalists to Virginia where they uncover the Loudon story that changes the course of a gubernatorial election. All of that takes resources. When you leverage 50, 60, 70, $100 million, you're taking an enormous risk. You're putting all of that at risk. You don't do it cavalierly. You do it because you believe, and I do, that Stephen is worth it, that he's incredibly valuable.
But isn't the reason why Stephen is worth it is because of not because of the trouble he gets into, but the fact that he is breaking the status quo.
It's the fact that he'll go there. He's one of the only ones that will. That's the whole reason. And I guess I guess when you and you know what? They deal with Matt Walsh, and I think Matt Walsh goes there a lot, especially at the well, I'm on Twitch, so I gotta be careful. What can I call them? What can I call them?
The tease.
Yes, especially them. Uh Matt Walsh goes at them hard. So you would think the Daily Wire would be able to, if they could support him, you know what I mean? They should have no problem supporting Steven Crowder.
Yeah, I could see that. But that's another question is like now if you're signing a guy like Steven Crowder, isn't like part of it that okay, we gotta it's like if I become like it's almost like inheriting beef. It's like 50 Cent and Eminem.
And that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, like Eminem inherited that beef. And it was because he signed 50 Cent.
Yep, he had to eat that.
You have to. You can't sign a contract with a guy and then go like, all right, now all the beefs, you got to stop.
Yeah, chill out.
And if that guy wants to go, all right, I'll stop. I won't talk about Ja Rule. You know what I mean? If 50 wants to not talk about Ja Rule, that's his choice. But if 50 goes, no, I'm not going to not talk about this. You either inherit my beef or we don't do business together. Or you resolve the beef. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm totally agree, bro. Like that I couldn't have picked a better parallel for this situation. You can't. I like that Crowder stood up to this. And I really hope that he does get backing from somebody who's like reputable. You know what I mean? Like somebody who.
Can I throw out a name?
Has real influence, but who can move the needle.
Can I throw out a name? I have two names.
You say Trump?
I was gonna say Trump, but this is a crazy name. Elon Musk
Elon Musk
gets into the media game.
Do you trust Elon Musk?
I don't trust him in his politics fully, but I do trust that he's a free speech guy. Like he has to be a free speech, free idea kind of guy for what he does.
You can't take that. You can't take that away from him for sure.
And he seems like a guy that's not gonna lose that. Like almost like Howard Stern used to be like a free spirit kind of free speech guy, and now he's just a straight commie. He would be a dictator if he could.
And you don't think Elon got that in him?
I don't think he has. I think for what he does, he's trying to go to Mars, bro. You can't be a closed-minded motherfucker. You have to.
Yeah, you have to think out the box.
You almost, I guarantee you, he hears people like he'll hear somebody say something that's racist, and he wouldn't even like think about it. You know what I mean? Like I don't see him being like a guy that's like outraging about shit.
I hear it and be like, oh my god, that was disgusting.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Brian says there's one more timestamp, and then we'll end it here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we did like. I mean, I could just keep playing it because it's close enough.
But it is still a huge risk. There's also a time factor. He might drive all that revenue, but what if it takes a year or even 18 months to bring over those Mug Club subscribers, to get those advertisers spending, right? Well, you're losing 8 figures a year in the interim or 7 figures a year in the interim while you're doing that. So you can't just say, we're going to pay you $50 million even if the show doesn't bring in any money. That's not punishment. First of all, $50 million minus 25% is not punishment by the standards of any.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop it again. He's completely negating that this is a conversation about boycotting, not ad revenue and not making enough money. You get what I mean?
He's equating it to the money and not the actual principle of what's going on.
Of the fucking fight that we're
yeah.
Holy Christ.
Yeah.
Human being.
But again, this just and I don't know who this guy is. Is he a representative? Is he their lawyer? Like who is this dude?
He's the God King, Skrill.
He's the who?
They call him the God King.
Never yo.
That's blasphemy.
Nah, call no man God. You see me?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got a high
No.
they got a really high sense of what is the word? Self-importance.
They got an air about them.
Yeah. Which used to be kind of like interesting, but now I kind of think they really believe it. Like they would say
All right.
things on their show like, "We know everything." All right, let me play.
In the world today, right? That's not
We're almost there.
punishment. That's just
You're good.
reality. He would still be being paid millions and millions of dollars, and we would be actively working with all those people that we're paying out of our cut to go find new advertisers to replace it, at which point he would be making his money again. Same with the content strike. If any major platform, YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcast, Spotify, issues a content strike such that Crowder's content cannot be monetized on the platform, then again, there's this 90-day concept, and again, there's this 25% reduction. Now, Stephen, when I spoke to him, he was very upset. He said, I've already been demonetized on YouTube. That's the kind of thing in a negotiation. You scratch through that with your red pen and you say, Stephen's already been demonetized from YouTube, so we can't start the deal at minus 25. You have to already have anticipated that, and that would have been fine. That's just a very common. But if he were making a significant portion of his revenue on YouTube and he lost that revenue, it's not punishing him to say you will make less. We're all going to make less. The real punishment would be if we took all the hit, continued to pay him guaranteed money, whether his show makes money or not, and then we lose the business as a result. And now no one pays Stephen anything, and no one releases Stephen's content. He has to go build it all from scratch in crisis. Ban. The Crowder content cannot be released on any of the major platforms because of his content being banned from those platforms. Then we'll reduce the fee if YouTube 20, if Apple 20, if Facebook 10, if Spotify 10. Same kind of concept. If the content simply cannot appear and therefore cannot not only be used for marketing, cannot be used to grow the brand, also can't be monetized, well, we can't pay him the same as if it was. If you're making 25% of your money on YouTube and now YouTube is permanently gone, you can't make that money anymore. It's not punishment. And this is really what it comes down to. Stephen's philosophy seems to be, I deserve to be paid millions and millions and millions of dollars, whether my show drives the revenue or not.
Wow.
That's not a
Oh my
business
God.
relationship. He's not looking for a
What a
business.
douchebag.
He's totally missing the point. I think he's purposely missing the point.
What a douche. There's no way he could take that away from that situation, bro. What is the point of signing to you if you're just gonna do the same bullshit that YouTube's gonna do for me? Here the terms is if you get suspended from YouTube, then your pay drops 25% for 90 days. That's just like losing ad revenue from YouTube for 90 days. That 90-day suspension bullshit. Yo, fuck that contract.
He might
yo.
as well. This is how bad it is, Skrill. He
That's
might
bad.
as well sign with a leftist company that pretends cancel culture doesn't exist. It's like the same thing.
Same thing.
They're not.
Same thing.
They're not acknowledging any of it, and that not only that Steven Crowder is one of the targets from the left. You know,
Exactly.
I just realized something. I think
Real
Go ahead.
quick, before you say that, shout out to Art in the chat. He said, "Cause it's not about standing for anything but money." And yeah, and listen, you know what I always say. Bottom line is, we get into that paper over here at the Daily Wire, and if you go fuck that up with your bullshit stunts, we taking 25% off top, nigga. What you want?
yeah, you're paying tribute to Paulie.
It's protection money.
I get the feeling, just like, I don't know why that last part it clicked to me. The Daily Wire doesn't have shit but social media. I don't think they have shit but social media presence because their entire contract is based on other platforms. It's not based on anything they're doing themselves. It's all based on YouTube. It's all based on Facebook. It's all like,
Well, no, they got that thing that you have to, like, that movie that they dropped. All their movies drop on something. I forgot the name of the website.
Daily Wire Plus.
Yeah. What is it?
Daily Wire Plus.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I didn't see anything in the contract about that though. So I don't think
I don't think
Daily
he
Wire.
gets anything, Daily Wire. Plus.
I don't think Dailywire Plus is making any money.
I don't know. Hard to call it. I don't know what they're making money from.
Let me
You know what I mean? It could all be ad revenues, as you said, from different platforms.
tell you why I don't think it's making any money. Because they didn't use it as a negotiation.
Oh, they didn't put it in. They didn't even talk about it, right?
It's not even in the contract. As far as what I saw,
It's a forethought.
it's all YouTube. It's all unless the banning stuff that makes sense because that's not under their control. But wouldn't you think that would be a big part of it? They're trying to get content for their Dailywire Plus. Maybe that's what this is like what they mean when they own the content.
They could just throw it on Dailywire Plus. But would that be sneaky? Like that would be kind of sneaky then. Let's say they were trying to get Crowder and they actually pulled it off and he got suspended. And they were like, all right, look, we got a Dailywire Plus. We don't really make a lot from it. So we're just gonna throw you on there and see what happens, and it blows the fuck up. How much of that money you think Steven's gonna get?
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Peter said I must have missed it, but he said that Mug Club would be on Dailywire Plus.
Okay.
So it would be, I guess, but that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't then their idea be that they would use Steven Crowder to drive people because they know he could get big numbers on Mug Club, so you'd get him to drive people over to Dailywire Plus. So
That's what it should have been.
So then sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm just trying to work it out in my head. Like, so the idea is the ad revenue from YouTube and all that stuff is what Crowder has to negotiate with. Obviously.
I think yes. As much as he has many followers, I think he might be the most followed person on Rumble. Don't quote me on that, but he's got a lot of followers on Rumble. That's not a negotiation tactic. Like you can't go to the table with Rumble because their infrastructure isn't there. YouTube is what it is. YouTube is the be all the one stop shop for videos on your phone. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It now comes on your remote. It comes on your TV automatically. It's on your laptop automatically. It's on your fucking Amazon device automatically.
They have movies. They're selling movies on it now. It's pretty much.
Yes.
It's pretty much there.
I think at that point, it's hard to ignore the weight that his YouTube followers have because he's got a lot of YouTube followers, and that's hard to get, especially nowadays. And they're like active followers. Like a lot of them watch the video.
Yeah, but that's what Crowder brings to them is the grassroots kind of thing. Is that he can bring people over to Dailywire Plus if they're having a problem with that. Being like they need more people over there, which they do.
For sure.
And Crowder would be a big get for them. Maybe I think maybe they're not looking at it in the right way of like they're too worried about ad revenue that they can't control instead of using the YouTube as basically a giant promotional device.
Yeah. And again, it's you're right. If you take everything from their YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, I don't know if they have a TikTok. I'm pretty sure they do. They're relying on these platforms, and the things they're put out are just safe enough. They're just safe enough.
And it's supposed to be that, but if they're gonna have Dailywire Plus, they're gonna have to eventually have like an adult side. You know what I mean? It can't be all kids movies.
The Adult Swim of the Daily Wire.
Dailywire porn. Dailywire hub.
See, now you're going crazy.
And it's just everybody's wearing clothes and it's only missionary.
I feel like Dailywire porn would be the most boring porn site in the world. Like what the fuck? Fucking humping each other through clothes.
Yeah, right. But they're gonna have to get some kind of adult adult content. Because then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's just, I don't know if they're even focused on that. And because if you're looking at, again, Crowder, it would be the adult content outlier on, he doesn't fit in at Dailywire. And that's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's a good thing.
So that's a great thing.
Yeah, he'd be the almost the black sheep. He'd be the rebel. And it'd be great actually, but yeah, I don't know. That's
Well, listen, man.
I'm still sticking with the idea they're not making a lot of money with that Dailywire Plus. Go ahead.
You're probably right about that. All I would say, because I'm about to get up out of here. I'm about to
Yeah,
start
me
streaming
too.
Apex, guys. If you guys want to continue listening to me and my shenanigans, I will be streaming Apex in a minute. So as soon as this is over, come over to my stream at Skrill SKRIL on Twitch. Yeah, thank you. So yeah,
And
I
also
think
I was gonna leave, but now I'm gonna stay on for another hour just to compete with you and split
just to
our
compete with
audience.
me.
Split the
Oh man,
audience.
you're gonna take the recidivism. I
Yeah,
think that's the word.
I'm keeping Peter, Misfit Ranks, and Brian.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. I'll take House Ramos. House Ramos, come on over,
House
bro.
Rebels. And I'm
Come on.
keeping Misfit Ramdell. He's
No,
mine.
you can't keep Ramdell. No, you can't keep Rammy. Come on, bro.
Oh, now we're
Relax.
fighting. You know, he's
Relax. Yo, Ramdell, come over.
me.
Come
I gonna
over,
low
come over.
him. Cause him like the video game.
All right, bro. I
ahead.
appreciate you. I'm gonna get up out of here.
All right, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Sure.
Later. All right, folks. Well, I guess I'm gonna get out of here. You know what? I'll play one more minute of boring, and then I'll get out of here because I don't think I have any more to say about this shit.
Relationship. He's looking for a benefactor. The Daily Wire is not a nonprofit. We aren't benefactors. We're a business. We only get to eat what we kill. And at the very beginning, we thought maybe we could do like a joint venture with Stephen where we have the same relationship. There's no guarantee of money, and if there's more money, he gets a cut, and if there's less money, he gets a cut. But we knew, no, Stephen at his level, his history, his experience, he just needs a big guarantee. He's earned it. But we still have to replicate in the deal some measure of that shared responsibility, and that's all this was meant to accomplish. You say, well, it's the same in the end anyway, because you're still telling him, if you say something YouTube doesn't like, we're taking away your money. Well, no, if YouTube would be the one taking away the money. We're just saying that we can't bear the entire brunt of that. But it's even, I think what Stephen's suggesting here is kind of even more disingenuous than that.
There's a part, just to give a little levity to the Daily Wire, there is a level to it that, again, if you're taking away the entire landscape of society right now, American society, then yeah, of course they shouldn't have to take the entire brunt. But again, you'd have to completely remove context from that for it to make any sense right now. Coming from the Daily Wire, coming from them, you'd have to ignore a lot of context to cut him this bail. And you know what? That's where I think I'm just gonna end it there, because I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in circles. I really want to see Crowder's response to this. Tomorrow's going to be a really interesting day, people. A really interesting day. I may just go on chill stream for a while and just sort of spectate what's going on. But again, I've been stressing this for a long time, that this is what is going on. These contracts from right-wing conservatives are no better than what you get from left-leaning companies, where they're trying to censor you, they're trying to control what you say, they're trying to control your creativity. It's a bunch of nerds that can't do it themselves, so they try to control the actual talent. And that's how it's always been. That's what ruined the music industry. Again, I speak from personal experience. I was there. I saw slave contracts. I denied all of them, and it made me an enemy. And then when I came out as a Trumper, that was, oh, Jesus. That was it. That was it. So, again, though, the fact that coming out as a Trump supporter, I even have to say coming out like it's like I'm a fag. But, yeah, coming out as a Trump supporter was a problem. And I didn't even know at the time. I was completely naive to the idea that I thought it was, oh, well, I'll just explain to them and people will understand. And it was when I started learning more and more that it was the way that right-wing media and conservatives present themselves is completely unrelatable. A lot of the times it's a little naive. What attracted me to it was based in logic, which I love, logic and reasonability. But when we're talking, there's people who are just better at hiding their shadiness than others. And listen, the Dailywire, they're smart. They're fucking geniuses. They know what they're doing. But again, them even coming out with this statement, dropping it, I guess it was this late in the day. They stayed up. They did this special. It's a 59-minute video of him explaining. Like, listen, this is why I'm not a scumbag. When you got to do that, there's issues. There's issues. They couldn't wait till tomorrow. So yeah, this is definitely a let's get out in front of this kind of thing. I'm not impressed or convinced by their argument, to be honest. And again, I hope I'm not being biased. I may be being biased. I'm open to thinking that. But I've been calling these guys out for a while now. As a conservative, as a right-winger. I've been calling out the right wing for months now. Actually, for probably years at this point. Jesus, time fucking flies. But yeah, I saw all this. This isn't shocking to me. It's shocking that the only thing that was shocking was the fact that they were kowtowing. I'm not gonna pull back from that. I think they absolutely are kowtowing. I'm not convinced by this statement. I'd like to hear what Ben has to say about it. I get the feeling that none of these guys are going to speak about it. That's why Boring is out there, out in front. I guarantee you Shapiro's not going to talk about it tomorrow on his show. And I'm very interested in what Crowder is going to say. So I'm definitely tuning into Crowder's show tomorrow. This was the greatest promotion that the Daily Wire could have done for Louder with Crowder. So yeah. Let's see. Brian, before I get out, I'm just gonna read a couple. Red hand pointing up. Brian, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate you. Looking at other videos going live now. This one was the first. This one was the first to talk about it. Sorry. Loved your take. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That came in late. Brian, thank you for giving me the timestamps and actually even telling me about this. I was just shooting the shit with Blaze, and then I saw your comment, so you actually extended this for an extra, 2 hours, I think. I think I was going to do just an hour. So thank you, man. Thank you. Peter Ortiz, thank you, too. Staying in the chat there, as always.